sister project within Wikimedia Foundation, and also usage of Wikidata. So like I said, Wikimedia Foundation is like the root organization, which managed the server, which receives grants, and which gives grants, and which receive money from companies to businesses to improve all the projects around Wikimedia, that being Wikidata, of course, Wikipedia, Wikicommons, and so it's really managing organization, which is very open, and like people are actually elected to get there. But so the Wikimedia Foundation, which is also called WMF, is the best, the most known is of course Wikipedia, but there's all other projects, interesting projects they have, but we'll not cover that in this workshop. Wikidata has started as a project to help maintain all the different links between Wikipedia. So there's at first there was only the Wikipedia in English, and then there started a second Wikipedia. I'm not sure if it was in French or Spanish, but they created a Wikipedia in other languages. But as long as there were not too many, it was easy to add a page, let's say on Earth, on the English Wikipedia, and also on the French Wikipedia, you create a page of Earth, and then you said, well, you can see the English version and put a link only to English. And if you do that, it's easy, because when you add the third one, let's say Spanish, then you only have 2 links to put to the French one and English one if they exist. But once you get to a certain number, let's say you have 100 of Wikipedias in different languages. So that means that if you create a 101 new language for the same page, it means you had to go back in all the 100 of other languages, and you have to add this new page. And this was, of course, not manageable, because people, they wouldn't do that. They would just create the page into their language, do the link for English, maybe a few main languages, but they wouldn't do it for all because it was long, they would have to search. So instead, they decided to do one place, which was Wikidata, where every page of Wikipedia in every language would link to a particular item. So if there's a page on Wikipedia about Earth, then there's a Wikidata item about Earth. And in this one Wikidata item, you just add the link to the English Wikipedia. And in French, you do the same. So you have the Wikipedia in French. So you link it to the element that is in Wikidata that represented. And so that way, it makes only one place where we can add all the links to all the other languages. So this really had helped to cut down the cost of having many languages. So basically, we see that Wikidata started as a helper project for Wikipedia to share among all the languages. Another project we're going to talk a lot into these workshops is Wikimedia Commons. Now, Wikimedia Commons is actually the big database that stores all the visuals elements across all the wikis. So when you need a picture in Wikipedia in French or in Wikipedia in English, you could choose to just import one picture into this Wikipedia. But if you want to share that picture with all the Wikipedias, then you have to put it in Wikicommons. And then in all the other wikis, you can ask to import the image that is in Wikicommons. So it's really a central repertory for all the images. Just to make sure, Wikidata doesn't store picture at all. If you want a picture linked to Wikidata, it must absolutely be in Wikicommons. So Wikimedia Commons, the content base. Like we said, it's mainly to store video and audio in every languages. So it's multilingual by design. So they really don't want to focus on one particular language. You want to be able to be accessed from all the other languages that are used. But still, English is a bit more used as a reference. But usually they accept, like on Wikicommons, discussion in other languages and things like that. So it's not a language restricted wiki. It's open, but it's better to know English, of course. Also, all the content on is under Creative Commons license. Now there are many different types of license. We're in another workshop, we'll go more into details about these types of license. We know now that Wikidata is CC0. Now, Wikicommons usually are CC, BY, and SA. So BY is mean that you have to say from where the picture comes. So you got to put attribution for the picture. Even if you reuse it, you've got to state where it comes from. And there's also the share alike, which means that if this picture is with a license of that type of license, if you use that picture, what you produce with it must be also into this license. So if you use that and you produce something, then people, you can't say, well, this is only, I'm only the one owning the rights on this element, because you're using something that already has rights, and you must continue to provide what you create with that with the same, at the same level. Whoops, sorry. Beyond that, it's also important to see that Wikicommons is actually not only about image, video, and sounds. There's also other types of content that are shared across all the wikis, such as PDF, or there's also tab files, which are actually table of data that are stored into Wikicommons. This is a more particular, we won't really talk about that, but it's good to know. Now, the benefits of Wikidata. Humans love Wikipedia, but the machine also love Wikipedia, but they much prefer Wikidata. It's because Wikidata is simpler. Wikidata is the preferred knowledge base tool for either agents or intelligent artificial intelligence powered tool, such as personal assistant, because it's a massive concentration of information, but simple and highly structured information. So that means that when the algorithms go and take data from Wikidata, they really know what they're going to use, because it is very highly structured. And that is a good example of that is search engine, which manage through the use of data into Wikidata to build a carousel. Let's say an artist has a lot of work, then sometimes we see that we search for in Google for the name of an artist, and then we see what he has done, like in a carousel above the search results. So this is one way Google is able to do that. So let's go into a more precise example here of Google in action and how. Here we are doing a Google search of Tchaikovsky. So when you do that, you see that on the right there is what we call an info box. And now this information box actually contains a lot of precise information. First of all, you see the pictures. So in these pictures, most of them are into Google database, but you can also go into Wikicommons. Google can go into Wikicommons and see that there are others and add them here. Now, see here we have under the Tchaikovsky name, we have composer, which is actually a small information. So you know that this principal occupation of Tchaikovsky was to be a music composer. So he puts it here. There's also other information of things you can do with about that. So you could go to a YouTube and see, well, is there things about Tchaikovsky on YouTube, or Spotify? Is there music or play music that is there music of Tchaikovsky that we could hear, maybe pay and hear? And it's very small, but we see below there are actually a short definition of Tchaikovsky, and it comes from Wikipedia. So it's very interesting to see that Google actually used a lot of information straight from Wikipedia to build this. So if we go further, so we see here bigger what we used to see, but at the right we see also other links data. So we have here the small resume or summary from Wikipedia. But below that, you see that you have date and place of birth. And that is funny because it's actually probably coming from Wikidata, most probably coming from Wikidata, but it's like two properties here we have. So we have the date and the place where he was born. So, but Google chooses to show them on one line. And there we have the same thing, but for his death. So so basically those two lines contain 4 declarations into Wikidata that are translated into those 2 lines. And we see also we have the complete name, and we have also the style of music he's doing. So this information that Google is able to provide you straight, this comes from Wikidata or other database like Wikidata. Okay, Google loves open knowledge base. So there's also a lot of database that are used by Google. Most of them are knowledge based. And for knowledge based and for link content, we're going to see that further. But Google must have a way to make sure that each knowledge database, we're talking about the same thing, the same Tchaikovsky or so we see like Google, he used a small summary from Wikipedia, and he used factual information from Wikidata, and he probably retrieves pictures from Wikimedia Commons. So. Okay, so there was the question about what's the link between Wikipedia, Wikidata. So I did start told a bit about the way Wikidata started with the page, but let's see, if you go on the Wikipedia page here, you will see that you have on the left in the tools, you have a link that is called Wikidata item. So this is very important because this link will enable you to go from the Wikipedia page to the Wikidata item. So maybe that would be interesting to show you. I will go a bit here. Let's say we go into Wikidata. Are you Wikipedia? Sorry. So oops. Is that oops? No, sorry. I'm being a bit mixed up here. Let's sorry. Let's copy this here. Let's go here. Let's paste this Tchaikovsky. Now we're on the page of Peter Ilyich Tchaikovsky. So see here on the left, you have the Wikidata item. So if we click here, now we're on the Wikidata page of this person, and I'm going to show it again, but let's just go at the end here, and I just want to show you so you can see it. This is the list of all the Wikipedias in the language which have a page on the same Tchaikovsky. So we got here in French, but we are now here in English. We came from this page, but from this page, we came to the WIKIDATA item, and we could go into the French Wikipedia of the same Tchaikovsky.